YouTube, what the crap's going on? Heir of Carthage here, back in Total War Rome 2. We're going to be doing us some online commentary battle here. I'm going to play as Rome. My opponent's chosen Parthia, so this ought to be kind of fun. See if he's capable of tearing apart a Roman army. Let's see, so what would be good against Parthians? Probably Balearic Slingers would be the better skirmisher choice. And as far as cavalry goes, let's stick with Legionary Cav. They have a little bit better armor, not particularly strong. And infantry-wise, we don't need to come super heavy on good sword infantry, so let's go. Actually, let's do this more pre-Marian. We will get some Silky Equites. Let's grab some Principe for a main line to take on any swordsmen that we run into, and then get some Triarii. These are very expensive spear units, but they're going to be quite tough against Parthia's cavalry. And then let's just bring a few Hastati for some extra javelin volleys and sword support. So I think this will be a fairly tough army for the Parthian to get rid of. They're going to have to get rid of 4 Triarii, which is going to take a considerable amount of cycle charging or skirmishing, which is not impossible. Parthia could have a skirmishing advantage over me here. And if they gain it, then I will be in trouble. Yeah, I'm playing this live because some folks had wanted me to play some live. I'm going to say good luck, have fun. And let's go ahead and get things started. I've got the Caesar abilities. Oh, I probably won't commentate the whole time because I'm going to be playing live, so if I'm a little bit quiet at times, it's just because I'm going to try and focus on it. It looks like the Parthian's going to start with the hill, should he choose to take it. Don't see hill camping being particularly useful for the Parthian, though, unless he wants to keep his skirmishers in a beneficial position. But yeah, the Parthian will start with this position. Getting into the forest would be of a huge benefit for me, and that would give them nice downhill charges. If I go for this forest over here, I think I would be better off. Let's leave. I'm going to leave a few Hastati in the very front to protect my slingers. And I'm going to have my slingers kind of behind the Hastati to start off with. We may rearrange our formation as we go. And let's just kind of keep our guys in a somewhat condensed formation here. Question is whether or not maybe I should hide some cavalry somewhere to try and pounce. If it hides here, it's most likely going to get seen, but it'll be relatively close. Let's try it. Maybe we can convince him that this is our whole army. You'll probably see that unit before the others, to be honest. Okay. I'm going to move up, and like I said, yeah, we want to get in this forest over here. I'm going to have my cavalry walk so that it doesn't get ahead of my infantry. What do we see over here? Eastern Catas, Hillmen, Noble Bloods, some skirmishers there that I didn't quite catch. Noble Blood being supported by Persian Hoplites, Hillmen. The Noble Blood are going to be a problem. If we just send Triarii out into the flanks, we should be good, and we can try and crush the center. Let's pull these Hastati up here, pull the slingers back, line up the Principe. He does not want me getting into those woods, I don't think. Let's get all of our guys out of formation attack. Go ahead and get set up. So we're basically just trying to use the javelins on the Hastati to our favor. Yeah, this cavalry is going to get singled out and destroyed, so let's go ahead and get it back over here. Okay, I'm going to let my slingers just kind of fire away. I don't see any horse archers from Parthia, so having gone melee heavy versus Rome I think is a mistake. Parthian swordsmen don't have a prayer.
We have discovered the enemy's hidden units.
I'm just keeping the Hastati up front in order to keep my Principe from being hit by cataphracts. I'm getting some return fire now from a couple of units. Some Eastern Slingers, not a big concern of mine. attack the Parthian swords with their Principe. And I'm actually going to pull the Hastati back and tell them to stop firing for now so that I can use their... Okay, he's pushing Cataphracts forward, trying to intercept my Principe, but it's not going to be in time. So my Principe are going to... Well, they're going to get meat shielded, unfortunately, by Eastern Spearmen. I don't think this little ploy is going to work. Those hillmen are going to get trashed by... I'm going to go full out for the Cataphracts. I'm just going to hold my cavalry in reserve at this point. And I'm just going to hold my flank over here too. He's going to send Eastern Spears after my Slingers, which is not a bad thought, but I'm not going to let them get to him. Interrupt the Noble Blood Cav there, and... Okay. Just want to keep him off my flank, keep my cavalry and my skirmishers safe. Fight up front ought to go very well. He's trying to sneak a Noble Blood Cav through here to get my...
Our general is under attack.
Okay, yep, now he's kind of going more... He's kind of going crazy trying to get to my skirmishers. Keep a couple of units back here. Let's get into those easterns. Actually, start chasing here. Let's hold the Hastati in reserve. Holding the Hastati in reserve while engaging with the Principe. Tell me that's not a bit of a backwards notion. Let's actually pull our cavalry back out of this fight. It's premature and unnecessary. We have this fight right where we want it, to be quite frank. So our infantry is going to overwhelm, and our spears right there cut us cavalry, so I'm just going to play it safe with my cavalry. The last thing you want to do is end up without any cavalry left versus Parthia. I can't tell if he's trying to get through me here with the Noble Blood Cav or not. But yeah, even our Triarii are faring pretty well versus his guys. So not a lot to be concerned about here. A Parthian melee rush is not what I would consider a sound idea versus Rome, but it depends on how you would use your shock cavalry to make it viable, and then elephants as well. Probably almost certainly would want elephants involved. And the target is general with rapid reload. And we're just going to keep cavalry back here to keep our skirmishers safe. Intercept the Cataphracts. Mob them with everything we got. So let's attack that infantry in the back, put some pressure here on the Persian hoplites, and we'll just keep infantry in reserve to plug the gaps.
One of our units
Their general is getting hammered by slinger fire, so I'm going to let that continue. Parthian cavalry is taking a toll on my infantry, and again, if he would have been on a more appropriate map to get it used properly, he probably would have been in better shape. But yeah, my Principe here in the woods with all the support are going to be rather difficult for him to destroy. I'm going to push forward and keep killing infantry to take away all of his support. So I pretty much ignored his eastern slingers just because there's not a lot of need for me to be concerned about them. They won't do near as much damage to my army as my Balearics can do to his. So yeah, Parthia is just at a pretty big disadvantage to Rome in a map like this. On open ground, where Parthia could be patient, use skirmishers to get a more piecemeal engagement, could absolutely potentially beat Rome. I think it's an uphill battle for Parthia all the way. So good game to my opponent. I definitely think that he had the more difficult of paths here. Hope you all enjoyed a little live commentary action. Went very well for us. You can see, I mean, just Persian hoplites, not a good choice versus Rome. And the reason I say that is because Rome's going to come melee infantry heavy. The Persian hoplites lose to even our spears. So yeah, I mean, and you can see my Triarii here getting a ton of kills. Principe obviously more than a match for Parthian swords. Parthian swords are just terrible versus Rome. Again, I mean, even if the only way you can use them successfully is to use your shock cavalry to get good charges, but you have to be very careful about that because bringing them out ahead means that you could open yourself to potential skirmish fire, and also you can expose yourself to Pila. So again, I think Parthia has an uphill battle. I don't know that that's probably the army that I would have chosen. I mean, I'm sitting here trying to think, what would I use if I was on that map versus my Rome army? I definitely would have come skirmisher heavy despite the forest. Sounds like little Air is waking up. I'm going to turn his monitor down. I'm going to go grab him in just a second. I'm kind of on little Air duty right now. So Median Cav honestly would be a good choice rather than Noble Blood because it doesn't take much to go after Roman cavalry. I think Eastern Spears are pointless. They're going to get killed by everything on the battlefield. Eastern Cataphracts are going to be your best bet. You're going to need a bunch of Cataphracts. And then at that point, I would start pouring in some Parthian Horse Archers. I can't remember what's... These are light missile cavalry, but they do have the higher melee, or higher bow damage, which is nice. I'd probably just go with the Mercenary Sarmatian Horse, because the Romans aren't going to have Horse Archers, period. So definitely bring those guys. I would recommend Elephants at this point. Oh, we need to put it on standard settings, so custom, we'll go large funds. Is that it? Large funds? Funds left. We can't have 11,000 funds left with just these picked. Reset the army. Large funds. That doesn't look like large funds to me. Funds left, 2160. Okay. What the heck is going on? Still seems... Oh, I have it on City Assault. I was like, what's wrong with the funds? Okay, here we are. So now we have everything set. So, large funds, open ground battle, Parthia. Here's what I probably would have preferred. Let's go 3 Eastern Katas. We're going to get the Horse Archers because these guys can be great in late game. I would certainly bring the Elephants because you might need it versus Roman Infantry. And then at this point, I would just skirmish her up. Actually, yeah, probably the Parthian Foot Archers. They have higher missile damage, and I don't remember if they have access to heavy shot. They do not, but they have precision shot. So, and then infantry ought to just be kind of token infantry. So, something just to tie down enemy men with. So you could get a bunch of hillmen, and you could throw a couple of spears or, something like this. Just trash infantry is really all you're going to have, and it's honestly probably about it. Yeah, Parthian swords cost too much and aren't going to do much for you. You could just go with quite a few of these Persian hoplites, and then this. Just something to tie down troops momentarily. So really your goal here would be is you deploy a lot of this stuff in reserve. You try and have some skirmish with your Horse Archers. You got to work down enemy cavalry. Once you can work down enemy cavalry, you would want to keep these Parthian Foot Archers in reserve. So your first goal would be to destroy enemy cav. Then your Parthian Foot Archers would pick at other key targets. And then these units are just there to keep javelins from being thrown while War Elephants make their way in. And the Cataphracts, again, holding in reserve to protect your skirmishers and late game. So very risky, but something like this I think gives you a better chance versus Rome. Anyway, hope y'all enjoyed this one. Air of Carthage signing out.